Hello again everybody, this is Gusto and I have another review today. A while back I received a package from gundog4314 and he was generous enough to send me the ration that I'm going to be reviewing tonight. And that ration is the Australian Defence Force Combat Ration 1 Man, or the CR1M. And this is a 2014 package, and this is Menu E. The CR1M is designed to feed one soldier for 24 hours and consists of 2 main meals and a snack, as well as some various items. And we'll get into all of those here in a little bit. The older CR1Ms, you see one reviewed by Steve1989, one of the older ones that's all in cans, those have been replaced by retort pouches. As far as my own exposure to this ration, this is the first time I've ever even seen one. So I've seen a couple of reviews, but I'm gonna approach it with a blank slate and explore this thing with you. So without further ado, let's go ahead and open this up and check out the contents. And again, thank you to gundog4314 for being generous enough to send this one to me. I'm really excited about it. So first of all, let's look at the exterior packaging. It is a clear plastic outer package. You can see the contents through it easily. It has informative page in there, so we'll read through that too. So there we go. You see the disclaimer on there that it says that it has not been constituted for anybody with food allergies, and cautions the user to check the ingredient lists on each item. It's kind of cool. The external date code shows 8/1/14 for the packaging date. There's no peelable seal on here or a tear notch, so we'll just use a knife and cut it open. Alright, so let's start with the informative page. It's actually more of a brochure. It kind of gives general information, advice on water sterilization, food poisoning, things of that nature. And it has the list of components in here, the menu sheets, and we again have menu E, which is listed as beef minced savory with vegetables and lamb vindaloo. So for the specific contents, if you want to read that. It also lists all the additional items common to every meal pack, and then the ingredient list for each of the entrees that you can find in these packs. It turns out this is a very comprehensive brochure that applies to all the meal packs, not just this one in particular. At any rate, let's get the rest of this stuff out here because we have a lot to cover. This will be a long review considering this is a 24-hour pack, so I'm going to do the opening and the breakfast in this video, and then the other 2 entrees in the next video. So now let's get to the contents. There's an accessory pack, we'll get to that in a minute. There is muesli, cereal, beef noodles, the beef minced savory with vegetables, lamb vindaloo, freeze-dried rice, chocolate drink. This is a soup mix, and the flavor is butternut, pumpkin, and ham with croutons. Interesting. A fruit cake, diced fruit and syrup, processed cheddar cheese in a small can. There you go. High energy sports drink powder, and it's kind of solidified, so some moisture's gotten in there, but we'll try to mix that anyway. Candy chocolates, and these feel like M&Ms. Doesn't feel like it's too broken up, so hopefully it's in good shape. Apricot cereal bar, biscuits, cream crackers, Australian Defence Force chocolate ration, peppered steak bar. It's Jack Link's jerky. Actually, you can't see through the packaging, but it feels fairly typical for beef jerky. And we have some tubed items, which is chocolate spread, plum jam, sweetened condensed milk, yeast extract, commonly known as Vegemite as one of the trade names. There is musk flavored lifesavers. This is an interesting item, is a soaped scouring pad. There's also waterproof matches and a striker. It is in a pretty heavy duty plastic container. It looks like there's some standard matches as well as some long burning waterproof matches there too. There is the spoon. It's very stiff, pretty sturdy. About the same size as a standard US MRE spoon, but the material is much thicker. There's a package of toilet paper. Now we'll get to the accessory pack. There's quite a few items in here. And for the sake of space, I'm going to go ahead and clear all this stuff off. As far as the contents of the accessory pack, there's several things in there. You have 2 coffees, 2 teas, 4 7-gram packages of sugar, salt and pepper, ketchup, Tabasco sauce, and 2 packages of sugar-free gum. Both of them are lemon lime flavor. And last but certainly not least is the Fred, which is the field ration eating device. And you can see it has a basic can opener, which is similar to the P38 or P52 style can openers. Pretty sharp there. And it's wider, so it feels more like a P52 opener. It has a bottle opener and a spoon. So that's Fred. So here's what I've determined to be breakfast, the way I would arrange it. Certainly this is not the way that the instructions designate the meals to be eaten. They actually state that the largest meals should be at breakfast and dinner. But for the sake of these videos, I'm going to break them up into 3 main meals. So what I've determined to be breakfast is the fruit cereal, the muesli, the canned fruit, some biscuits, and our spreads, which I'm going to use plum jam, chocolate spread. The sweetened condensed milk, I'm actually going to put some of that in the beverages. I have instant coffee and tea for the beverages. So that's where we'll start. For the first item, let's open up the muesli. So the instructions for this is to open the contents onto the tray and add cool water and mix it to the desired consistency. So before I open this up, let's take a look at the ingredients. You can see all the fruit components in there, as well as the oats. Looks like it should be pretty tasty. Get this opened up and rehydrated. Oh yeah, there it is in the package. You can see all the big chunks of fruit in there. So let's add a little bit of water and mix it up. We'll let that do its thing while we get everything else out. I'm going to go ahead and get the drink started. 1 coffee. Interestingly about the Australian ration is you'll see a lot of the components are manufactured in New Zealand. In fact, all of the components of what I've determined to be my breakfast here were produced in New Zealand. I'm going to add about half of that sugar to the coffee. One nice thing about this is the sugar is actually cane sugar rather than beet sugar. In the other mug, we put in the tea bag. And this is black tea. And some hot water for both of those. At first glance, the instant coffee here is a lot darker, looks a lot more rich, and has a more robust scent to it than the US instant coffees that I've seen. Next, we'll put out the biscuits. I'm going to reserve some of these for the other meals. So we'll take one of these biscuits out for breakfast. And there they are. They have kind of a yeasty scent to them. And there they are. And you can see the brand name Huntley and Palmer's is stamped there. Looks like a pretty good cracker. And lastly, we will use Fred to open the can of fruit. So I'll give you up close how this thing works. So that notch grips the rim of the can, and then you use it as a lever to puncture, and then you advance it backwards in a rocking motion to open the can. Let's go ahead and do that. Kind of have to get a rhythm to it. But once you get into it, it tends to go fairly quickly. Easy as that. So there's the fruit. Looks fine. Smells fine. I will say, having used the smaller can openers, actually this longer tool gives a little bit better leverage, and it seems to be a little easier to use than the small P38s. For the cracker, I'm going to use some of the plum jam and the chocolate spread. I may use some of this later for the snacks too. The tubes feel pretty much like a toothpaste tube or a medication tube, and they have the seal puncture cap. Open that up, puncture the seal, and you're ready to go. So here's the plum jam. Yeah, looks really good. We'll do the chocolate spread in just a minute. So it's also a nice feature. You can just reseal the unused contents, use it for later. Alright, so let's take a tour around the tray. I'll get you some close-ups on the food items. Alright, so the muesli, which is rehydrated, kind of looks like a typical granola. A lot of the oats you can see in there, and a lot of the fruit pieces. You have apple and raisin. Looks like some pineapple right in there. Some apricots. It looks pretty good. For the mixed fruit, it looks like peaches and pears in kind of a heavy syrup. That's pretty thick. I don't know if you can really appreciate it there, but the syrup is quite thick. We will start with the main element here, which is the cereal or muesli. Try to get plenty of fruit in there. And you can see in there there's some dates and apricots, a lot of the grains, the oats in there, chopped up oats, and there's some pineapple in there also, I think right there. Alright, smells nice, pretty sweet. That's delightful. Actually, the texture of the oats is pretty hearty, although it's been sitting out there for a few minutes while I plated all the rest of it up. Never got really soggy. The fruits have very good preserved flavor there. And you can distinguish all of the different flavors between the dates and the raisins and the apple. You can really distinguish the different flavors. It's really quite tasty. Very enjoyable. And we'll move on to the fruit. Again, this is peaches and pears, and it's kind of in a heavy syrup. There you go. And that's a typical canned fruit flavor. Seems to have held up just fine, even though it's over 2 years old. Let's try the cracker a little bit by itself first, and then with the jam. Again, this cracker is pretty thick, very crisp, and has a very yeasty scent to it. And on first taste, it doesn't taste very salty at all. There's no salt on the top of it, but you pick up a little bit of the saltiness of the cracker as you get into it. Has a very nice texture, very crunchy, good flavor overall. And with the jam, and this is nice actually in the tube. It seems like it's preserved better than in the little pouches that you see in the US MREs. It's thicker, it holds together better. Wow, that is an intensely delicious plum flavor. Very, very intense fruit flavor there. That is really, really good. Really good. And we'll try some cracker with the chocolate spread. It's really thick. And that's really nice. It's a really rich dark chocolate flavor. Very tasty. Not too sweet. Certainly not a milk chocolate product. It's quite dark. Very, very rich flavor. Very good. Now, from what I understand, the sweetened condensed milk can be used in the drinks, and I will use it for that purpose, but I'm going to try some by itself as well. So here's the sweetened condensed milk, kind of out by itself on the spoon. You see it's kind of a creamy honey colored thick liquid there. That's very, very sweet. Alright, so let's put some in the coffee. Give that a stir. And again, this coffee is very dark and rich appearing. Has a very strong scent. Yeah, that's pretty good. That's just a really strong cup of coffee. Very nice. And the tea, let's get that bag out of there. I am going to put a little bit of sugar in there. I have some left over. And again, a little bit of the sweetened condensed milk. We'll save the rest for the next video. Give that a stir as well. We'll have some tea. It's very nice with the sweetened milk. That's really tasty. So that wraps up part 1, the unboxing and the breakfast portion of the Australian Defence Forces CR1M, and this has been very, very enjoyable. Delicious fruit cereal product there. That's really tasty, very good dried fruit there. And then this plum jam is ridiculously delicious. I'm going to hold on to that. So please stay tuned. I think I'm going to do actually 2 more videos because there's so much in this package that I just don't think I can make a video that's concise enough to be watchable in one sitting. So please stay tuned for the next 2 episodes. Those will be the lunch and snack portions, and then the dinner portion will be the 3rd video. So thank you all very, very much for watching and for all the comments and feedback that you provide. Thank you to the MRE reviewing community on YouTube as well as the folks over on MREinfo.com. So until next time, thank you all very, very much. And of course, thank you to gundog4314 for supplying me with this ration. This is a great adventure. So we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.